The Milwaukee Brewers, another team that is really hot right now. And the Milwaukee Brewers have won 7 straight. They are just one out in the NL Central. One out, one behind the Cubs. Amazing how far that they've come. And obviously, they are also first in the wild card race. They have a better record than the Mets, than the Phillies. They have the third best record in the National League. That's right. The Milwaukee Brewers' third best record in the National League, behind only the Dodgers and the Cubs. And what's amazing about the Brewers, when you look at their journey from the offseason to now, in the offseason, until March, they didn't sign a free agent for more than $1 million. They finally signed Quintana under pressure for $4.25 million at some point in March, and that certainly helped them. He's been a fine addition for the Brewers. So they don't have much of an offseason after losing Willy Adames to free agency, after trading Devin Williams, and yet here they are again. Then they start the season, the Torpedo Bat Series in New York. Remember, oh my goodness, Freddie Peralta said yesterday, Sunday, that he was a little bit worried after that series and after what happened at the hands of the New York Yankees with their torpedo bats, which we haven't heard a word about for a couple of months now. The Brewers climb back out of that, and here they are, as they are here every single year, it seems. No matter what you do to them, no matter who they lose, they rally. Now, Sal Frelick injured his hamstring on Sunday, underwent an MRI, awaiting the results of that. Obviously, they need him, and he's been a huge part of what they've done since moving to the leadoff spot in May. But the Brewers, unlike really any other team, are in a unique position entering the deadline. In my estimation, they have starting pitching to trade. Now, obviously, it's fragile, and obviously, you don't really want to ever trade starting pitching because the moment you do, then you lose one, and then suddenly you're facing a shortage again. But the Brewers are sitting there right now. They've got Misiorowski, of course, who has come on. They've got Brandon Woodruff, who has come back. Freddie Peralta, Jose Quintana. Then they have all these others, too. Tobias Myers came up briefly. Let's not forget Logan Henderson, Chad Patrick, and, of course, Quinn Priester. It just named, 7 or 8 guys. They can trade a pitcher. They need help on the left side of their infield, a shortstop ideally, or a third baseman. They are a team that scraps and fights and does everything possible to win. I just love seeing the way they go about it every single year. They're one of my favorite teams just to watch, just to see how they piece it together. I don't have a favorite team, obviously, but just monitoring them, charting them, watching them, it's really cool to see how they somehow contend every single year. And this is the best record, actually the most wins they've had at the All-Star break in franchise history. Now, granted, the season started on March 27th. That might be influencing that total. But Mark Attanasio, their owner, should be influenced, should be incentivized to go out and do something at the deadline to add to this team. And he has, his general manager, Matt Arnold, has the starting pitching, the flexibility to maybe do some things. Jacob Misiorowski has been the talk of the sport really ever since he came up in June. And of course, he became the talk of the sport in a different way when he was named to the All-Star team on Friday as a replacement for Matthew Boyd. I wrote about this today, and I want to get into it because there's a lot of layers here, and a lot of things to discuss. Now, I'm going to start off at the top by saying what I did in my column this morning. I see both sides of this debate. I certainly see the side of Major League Baseball and Fox. They want to generate as much attention as possible for the game. They want to generate as much buzz as possible for the game. Jacob Misiorowski does that. He's the Miz. He is a sensation. He is exactly what you want in terms of marketing. Now, the problem is, of course, to those who see this selection as something less than ideal, is that Jacob Misiorowski has made 5, count them, 5 starts in the major leagues. Only 5. And the question becomes, how far do you lower the bar? Paul Skeens had made 11 starts last year when he became the all-star starting pitcher for the National League, but he had been dominant in those 11 starts, even more dominant than Misiorowski, had a 1.90 ERA. No one had a problem with that. He came up in early May. He had been a major leaguer for the bulk of the season. But again, when you choose a Misiorowski, you're not choosing others who have been with their teams the entire season and others who have really worked their entire careers to become an all-star. And I think of Tyler Rogers, the San Francisco Giants reliever. A friend, or actually a commenter on my column this morning, mentioned Nick Pivetta, who certainly has been all-star worthy for the Padres. They've got 3 relievers. That should be enough. But yeah, Pivetta's pitched really well. And there are others as well. Others who did not get a spot because Jacob Misiorowski did. But what I wrote about is that Jacob Misiorowski, the Miz, is only in this game, was only available to be chosen because other starting pitchers turned down spots. Now, we know the rules here. Pitchers who are scheduled to start on Sunday, either they or their teams can request that the league restrict their usage. And by restricting their usage, they can also request not to pitch. We get it. 1 day's rest, that's a lot to ask. And the Sunday pitchers, they bowed out, understandably so. We also had 6 starting pitchers who went on Saturday, 2 days ago, went on Saturday, and they also bowed out. 2 in the National League, 4 in the American League. The rules or the All-Star criteria says nothing about Saturday starters. There's no reason they shouldn't be able to pitch. Now, in each case, you can look at it. Zach Wheelers, Garrett Crochet, Matthew Boyd, right down the line. Every one of these starters. Jacob deGrom's another one who bowed out. Those are guys who bowed out after pitching Saturday. In each case, you can certainly understand why they might not want to pitch. And with the sport just ravaged by pitching injuries, yeah, being overly cautious is a good idea. So there's that to balance, and it's not easy. But when you take it as a whole, when you see this many players bowing out, and by the way, we are up to 79 All-Stars, and it's going to become 80. Isaac Paredes withdrew today because of family matters, so he's going to be replaced most likely. 80 All-Stars, and by the way, no Juan Soto. 80. At that point, it's not necessarily a good look. And at that point, you wonder if players can show more of an obligation to the sport, the ones who back out. And yes, it's nuanced, it's difficult. As I said, the withdrawals in almost every case are justifiable. But while labor tension is always the undercurrent of what is going on with baseball, and players sometimes don't feel like they need to go out of their way to help MLB out, I get it. But there does have to be an obligation at some point, at some level. An obligation to the fans, an obligation to your avocation, your vocation, I should say. So it's a difficult one. And I don't know how you fix any of this. Alex Cora, the Boston Red Sox manager, said on Sunday, told reporters that maybe the best idea is to lengthen the break. Lengthen the break, give pitchers more time to recover from their last starts. And as part of that, you can move the game back to Wednesday. Move it to Wednesday instead of Tuesday. Again, creating more space from the end of the first half and the All-Star game itself. I don't know that that's the answer. I don't know if that would do it. I don't know if paying the players more money, something I suggested in the column, would do it either. The players on the winning team get $25,000 each, no small sum. They also get, every player, a $1,000 stipend. This is both teams, as well as first-class hotel and accommodations for up to 2 guests. All that's nice, and it's very much a reward for being in the game. Would more money help? I don't know. It always seems to help, right? But I don't know that that would change any of this. So, again, there are all these factors in play. And then someone suggested to me as well, hey, why not have fans vote for the pitchers? Because fans vote for the position players, and the position players seem to honor the fans' wishes by playing in the game. Only one position player has withdrawn this year, one of the elected position players. That's Jose Ramirez, and he has ample reason. He's had nagging injuries the entire first half. So maybe that's a part of it too, but all of these things should be up for consideration. The process is always going to be flawed. We saw that with the Phillies guys, Ranger Suarez and Christopher Sanchez. It's never going to be perfect. There are always going to be players you feel are more deserving than some of the guys on the team. That's just part of this. But when it comes to Jacob Misiorowski, this should not be held against him. He, you might say, did not earn his selection, but you know what? He got chosen. He didn't choose himself. He didn't put himself in the game. It can't be held against him because he's here only because others chose not to play.
The way to buy, sell, or trade your cards is Arena Club. It is the top marketplace in the biz to get that done. And Kratz, we love the slab pack situation because rolling through a ton of cards, physically opening them, finding all kinds of commons that end up folded or in the garbage is old news. Why not get a slab pack and get a chance at a card worth thousands of dollars?
I was a common card. It's okay if you don't get me in your slab pack because you put as little as $25 into for a slab pack and you could pull out something that's worth thousands of dollars. And it's a keepsake that you get to wait, you know what? It might be worth this much today, but I get to watch the value grow.
And right now you can get 20% off your first slab pack or card purchase by going to arenaclub.com/foul and use the code FOUL. That's 20% off your first card purchase or slab pack at arenaclub.com/foul, code FOUL.